Deep within the heart of Scotland lies a mystery that has captivated the world for centuries. Nestled among the rugged highlands, Loch Ness is not just a body of water, it's a gateway to legend, home to one of the most famous cryptids in history, the Loch Ness Monster. Now, I know you're probably wondering, what exactly is the Loch Ness Monster? Well, let me take you back in time. The legend of the Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie, dates all the way back to ancient times. In fact, the first recorded sightings were by monks in the 6th century. They described a terrifying creature that roamed both land and water, leaving people in awe and fear for generations. But it wasn't until much later that Nessie truly grabbed the world's attention. In 1934, a photograph surfaced that many believed was definitive proof of the monster's existence. The image showed what looked like a long, sinuous neck emerging from the water, with a few humps visible behind it. The photo was taken by Robert Wilson, a respected lawyer, which added to its credibility. Almost overnight, Loch Ness became a global sensation, and people from all over the world flocked to Scotland hoping to catch a glimpse of the elusive creature. Since then, countless expeditions have been launched by scientists, tourists, and amateur investigators alike to find this mysterious beast. But despite all their efforts, Nessie remains as elusive as ever. Some claim it's a surviving plesiosaur, a prehistoric creature that roamed the Earth millions of years ago. Others believe it's nothing more than a myth, a product of overactive imaginations and the desire to believe in something extraordinary. But here's the thing, there are as many theories about Nessie as there are sightings. Some say it's a misidentified animal like an eel or a seal. Others suggest it's a figment of local folklore, a way for the Scottish people to explain the unexplainable, and then there are those who think the whole thing is just a hoax, a clever prank designed to attract tourists. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Loch Ness Monster legend is how it has evolved over time. In the 6th century, St. Columba reportedly encountered the creature while traveling through the area. He described it as a water beast that terrified his companions. But by the Victorian era, Nessie had become something more fantastical, a serpent-like creature with a long neck and glowing eyes. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can we possibly explain all these sightings? Well, one thing is certain, if the Loch Ness Monster exists, it's not your average creature. It's a being that has managed to evade capture for centuries, leaving behind only fleeting glimpses and blurry photographs. And that's part of what makes it so intriguing. But let's take a step back and think about this. Why does the Loch Ness Monster captivate us so? Why do we find ourselves drawn to stories of mysterious creatures lurking in the depths of lakes and oceans? I believe it's because these legends tap into something deep within our human psyche. They remind us that there are still mysteries out there, things we don't understand, things that challenge our sense of reality. And that's exciting. It keeps us curious, keeps us wondering what else is out there, what other secrets are hidden in the world around us. Now, I want you to imagine this, standing on the banks of Loch Ness, looking out at its dark, murky waters. The wind is blowing, and the waves are gently lapping against the shore. You can feel the cool mist rising from the water, and the air feels heavy with mystery. It's easy to see why people believe something is out there, something watching, waiting just below the surface. But here's the thing, if Nessie exists, it's not just a creature, it's a symbol of our enduring fascination with the unknown, our desire to uncover the secrets of the world around us. And that's why the legend of the Loch Ness Monster will never die. It's not just about a monster in a lake, it's about the human spirit, our insatiable quest for answers, and our willingness to believe in something greater than ourselves. So, as we gaze upon the enigmatic waters of Loch Ness, one question lingers: what truly lurks beneath its surface? The answer may forever remain a mystery, but the legend of the Loch Ness Monster will continue to captivate us all. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of cryptids and legends, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more fascinating tales from the deep. Stay curious, my friends, because who knows what other mysteries are waiting out there, just beyond our reach.